Good evening. At this time, we're going to go ahead and get started with this regular City Commission meeting for September 4th, 2024. If I can please have the City Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Villa-Vasquez.
Present.
Commissioner Caldwell.
Here.
Commissioner Harriet.
Present.
Commissioner McCool. Here. Commissioner Shimkus.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee. Here. Mayor Villa.
Here. This time, I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Harriet of District 1 for the invocation and honoring of veteran.
For our invocation day, if everybody would just stand and bow your heads, and we'll just recognize a moment of silence.
The Commission can meet us in the bottom.
Does it work? It works. Mr. Joel, would you join us, please? It's my honor today to be able to present this certificate of recognition to Mr. Joel Recue. He was drafted in 1969 and dutifully served from May of 1970 to April of 1992. Mr. Recue spent his first 6 years in the Air Force as a jet engine mechanic and second flight engineer. After leaving the Air Force, Joel joined the Navy in 1976, where he served for another 18 years. His naval career began as a torpedo man on subs. He spent 11 years after that in logistics supporting the SEAL teams. Joel spent the last 3 years serving as a torpedo man, among other duties, as assigned during the Gulf War conflict, where he retired as a chief petty officer. Thank you, sir, for your service to the country. Thank you very much.
Mayor, thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Dougherty. He has a presentation or introductions to do.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, because they may be speaking this evening. There's 2 people in the room I want to recognize. Introducing Jordan Smith. He's actually hiding over in the corner. He'll be speaking a few times tonight. Director of Planning and Development. Jordan brings diverse experience in training and urban planning, has great experience in municipal land use, zoning ordinances, comprehensive plans, economic development strategies, transportation studies, wetland mitigation, and watershed protection. Jordan has private and public sector experience, including serving 7 years as a senior planner in the city of Sanford, and he is AICP certified. Jordan has also served the last 6 years on the Lake Mary City Commission and was reelected this month in a landslide victory of 100% of the vote. Fortunately, Jordan ran unopposed, so it was a big win. So Jordan, you're going to hear from him a little bit tonight. Also, Director of Finance, Robin Hayes. Robin comes to Deltona with great experience in municipal finance as well as city management. Her finance experience comes from 6 years with the City of Titusville, 4 years with Winter Garden, 4 years with the City of Oviedo. Robin's experience in city management includes 5 years with the City of Mount Dora and a couple of years with the City of Cocoa Beach. So with a rich history of municipal finance and unique experience in city management, Robin will bring a lot of tools to the table with her ability to look at our finance department with fresh eyes, which is what the commission's been looking for some time. So thank you to Jordan and Robin to becoming part of the team. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, at this time, I'd like to enter public forum for items that are not on the agenda, please.
Matthew Shaw, please.
Uh-oh, I think I see a challenge coming up. Click the button on the bottom.
The push one that says put? Is it on? Okay, my
There
time's
you
still
go.
going. Should reset that. All right, commissioners, mayor, city manager, thank you for your time to speak today. So I'd like to talk about one of the fastest growing sports across the nation. The year was 1965. And pickleball was invented on Bainbridge Island, Washington, by 3 friends, Joe Pritchard, Bill Bell, and Barney McCullum. The game was created as a fun activity for their families. They improvised with a perforated plastic ball, wooden paddles, and a badminton court. The sport's name is believed to have been inspired by the Pritchard's family dog, Pickles, who would chase after the ball, hence pickleball. Initially popular in local communities and schools, pickleball slowly spread across the United States in the following decades. The sport has seen explosive growth in the last decade, especially since 2020. Moving into more recent history, according to the sports and fitness industry, pickleball has been the fastest growing sport in the U.S. for 3 years in a row. Participation has doubled between 2021 and 2023. June 4th, 2024, Deltona Pickleball Club was created by a handful of ragtag beginners. These players consist of all ages, 4 years old and up. It's a fun, safe environment for families and a place to meet and engage new friends. I believe that this type of environment is what Deltona, a city on the move, needs more of. Now, fast forward a few short months, we've grown to over 60 people in the pickleball club, 15 to 20 plus players weekly when it's not raining or sunny, which brings me to my next point. And ask. Harrison Saxon Community Center and Park, the only pickleball course that I know of in Deltona, if I'm wrong, please let me know, needs a canopy to block from the sun and the rain. So I'd like everyone who's a part of the pickleball club or plays pickleball to stand up. I think we have a few folks in here. Yeah? All right. See? So we have a few people here. And all we're asking for is a canopy so you can have a good time and play. I think that Deltona needs more of these areas. So I asked that we approve a canopy there. So I want to thank you guys for approving the sunshade. That's one piece. I should say the windscreen, excuse me. Mark Manning, thanks for your help. Commissioner Harriet, thank you for your support. Ms. Brandy White, thank you for encouraging me to speak. And lastly, Mayor Santiago Avila, thank you for challenging a certain player to a one-on-one pickleball match. So you all have a great night.
Mayor, do you are you a fellow pickleballer?
No.
It sounds like you dabble.
Robert Solano, please.
Said there was a button to press?
If the light is green, it's on. There you go.
Now I'm good to go?
No, click it again.
Now I'm good to go. Okay, so my name is Rob Solano. I had the pleasure of sitting with some of you about 2 months ago in regards to a youth baseball program. I'm here today to follow up and see if anything has been resolved. I haven't heard anything back on us having an opportunity to have a place to call home. As you can see, I have a mixture of 3 teams here, along with a bunch of parents that are also looking for the same thing, and trying to keep these parents and these players here in Deltona. Right now, what we're facing and what we're up against is our players are going to play in DeLand, or they're going to play in Sanford, or they're going to play in other places that they can call home because they don't have anywhere to be able to do it here with the type of program that we're doing. I'm hoping that by standing here in front of you and having the commitment from these parents and these players that we're showing how serious we are about having somewhere to call home. It hurts me to be able to go to a different city to have to pump gas and buy groceries for these practices that aren't benefiting where I live. And I'm trying to see what we can do to fix that. I was told I'd get a call back. I got one a long time after when we originally had said we were going to get one, and just trying to see where we're at. If it's going to happen, good. If it's not, then at least let us know so we can prepare properly on moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Robb. If you can just make sure we have your contact information.
Courtney Cross-Burgos, please.
Good evening, everybody. Courtney Cross-Burgos. I had a question about the scholarships with the budget. We haven't heard anything back about that. And I know that a couple of the commissioners were trying to look into finding other resources besides our city tax paying money for the scholarships. I know there's a couple of commissioners that are against that as well. But how do we find out when what's going on with that? It's nothing on the budget tonight in there, and I know you guys are voting on a tentative budget tonight. So when do we find out about the scholarships? Anybody?
Mr. City Manager, we have that on an upcoming workshop, don't we?
Yes.
Monday, yes, correct.
Okay, so
one of
it's on the
topics.
workshop, so it's not going to be voted on tonight?
This question answer period here, Mayor's comment period, but this is not a final budget decision tonight.
So it will
But
be
it's-
voted on
it's-
tonight. We have a workshop on the ninth
And this is
about
not,
it.
this is not the budget tonight either, correct?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Kathy Bryan, please.
They're going to vote on it, but they don't have a meeting. I got different stuff. Yeah.
Good evening, Kathy Bryan, Deltona. Number one, I want to address the meeting before the meeting. I get that it kind of gets everybody organized, but then you guys are upstairs. It's not being videoed. I think you're only taking notes. I can't watch it, see the interaction. And it seems like a lot of decisions are getting made before we have the actual on-the-roll meeting down here. I don't like it. Number two, as you know, I was on the committee for city manager, and Ms. Hayes was one of those candidates on the list for city manager. And I did a lot of research, and I hope she does right by us, but I was not excited at all about her past history, and especially with the finances. I did a lot of research. Number three, I'm glad we had the meeting on the comp plan the other night, and was glad to see so many people here. One of the, not on the comp plan, but the vision session, rather. One of the things that I wanted to bring up when we discuss all this is that if we don't adjust the comprehensive plan and the land use plan to accordingly with what we're looking to do as a city, then we're wasting our time, our money, their money, their time, not their money, but, and all of our breath. So we need to jump on that, and we need to make it, again, we don't have to go with the same old, same old. We can be different, and we can be environmentally friendly. That being said, one of the things that gets talked about is a downtown area, and one of the biggest spots talked about is down by the I-4 corridor on Howland. That's still a long distance away for, if you live over on the other side of Deltona, that's still a long drive. So my other thing is we need to think about parking. Where are people going to park? how much time, and if you do just parking a flat lot, that's a lot of impervious area when we already have flooding problems. Think about something like a garage or something like that, but you really need to think about all of that as well. And if anybody's been paying attention to what they're doing, what they've been talking about on the state level, and I know everybody loves their pickleball, but please pay attention, folks. We don't need to pave over a lot of our state parks and introduce things like pickleball courts and hotels and lodges, et cetera, et cetera. They're meant to be natural. They're meant to be enjoyed, but not by mowing everything down. So pay attention to your state people, folks. Have a good night. Thank you.
Brandy White, please.
Brandy White, Deltona. I also want to touch on the pickleball as one of the newbies who started going out there a few months ago. There is a huge safety issue regarding the rain specifically. It leaves it very wet and puddled on there. So I didn't know the sunshade had been approved just yet, so that's good to hear. I heard it was in the talks, but I didn't hear it had been approved. I don't support it at the state parks, just putting that out there. But we do only have one here, and it has grown exponentially. We have people now having to wait for a spot to open up before they can play. So that was encouraging to see, and it's been consistent. Month over month, it's been consistent, just continuously growing. So I would actually challenge all of you guys to go out there at some point on a Tuesday and chit-chat with everybody and play some pickleball. Second, we talked about the daddy and daughter dance, the mommy and me dance. I had a few seniors reach out wanting to know when they get their senior prom. Everybody in the groups are getting their turn. They want to know where their senior prom is. I guess I know a few years ago it was brought up. David Sosa, I believe, footed the bill that time so that it could happen. But if we could get some type of partnership, I did mention it to Mr. Hearn at the last dance, if we could kind of work maybe with the Council on Aging or something to make that happen. I want to thank you for the water bill change, the calendar. We do notice that there is the additional month ahead for those who get it at the end of the month. We now know what's coming up instead of what already happened. So thank you for that. But on the terms of water accounts, can we get some clarifications on that? Because since we started this new water bill system, and thank you for having the workshops on it, there's still confusion. If I go to my Google page and I click the link, it takes me to create an account that apparently isn't really creating the account I need to pay my bill. It's creating some other account. When I try to create my account to pay my bill, they say I don't exist, although I've been here 25 years and I've had a water account for 25 years. I've tried every name change. I've tried every which way it's on my water bill. I just don't exist. I've had help. I've went through all the steps. I don't know what else to do about that. I pay as a guest. So if you could probably maybe tweak that system a little bit, make it easier to find your account or whatever the problem is, I'd appreciate that. And lastly, lake levels. I know that's everybody's least favorite topic, but again, it is coming up specifically in District 1. The lake levels are where they were pre-Ian. Today didn't help any. We had some flooding that, especially on Captain, that stayed over the road for quite a few hours. As I did come here, I did notice it has went down. It's not gone, but it has went down, so we're lucky there. But I am concerned, what is the game plan moving forward if the lake levels are as high as they are now and we're only expecting more rain? So if some communication could go out, maybe on your PIO, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Jose Pereira, please.
Amen. Good evening. I am a concerned parent that lived in Deltona, and repeating pretty much what Rob Solano said, have a lot of concerns with the management of our parks in this beautiful town. A few months ago, I had a meeting with the board at Dewey Booster Park with the board members there, and a gentleman that I learned later, whose name is Mark Manning. Mark Manning did not introduce himself as a public servant or whatever is his position with the parks, but afterwards I learned who he was after he left. We discussed changes to the community and to the program there to help resurrect a beautiful baseball program that existed there prior years. So in regards to that, math became an issue here with some numbers that were stated to me that Mr. Manning presented that in their best year, my son started playing at 2022. There were 16 teams. That's 192 players if we're going at 12 players per team. In the latest season, currently right now, they're at 12 teams, and I just added 2 ghost teams just to boost the numbers because he gave a number of 260. Just to boost his numbers, I added 2 more teams to what they currently have, and we're at 168 players. Why is this weird? Because the math isn't mathing. I had the pleasure of coaching the all-star team there and helping out the community, and we would go to practices, and Dewey had given the park, Field 1, to a coach there every Monday. It was his park, it was his field. And I was like, hey man, why won't you just let us go ahead and train our athletes that are representing this town, that are representing Deltona? And they said it's an agreement that was made already with previous people there. Amen, no worries. So we called the county and we requested what would be the price to rent the fields. They came out with $50 an hour. So it was like, how is $50 an hour fair to the people that pay taxes in this town? So we was like, you know what, no worries. The parks are not well maintained, not West Cryle, not Timber Ridge, not even Dewey. I challenge you to go get a foul ball on third base without breaking a kneecap. Sadly, we have to go to Orange City, to Bennett Park, which offers their fields at $42 for an hour and a half with lighting, ample parking space, cleaner bathrooms, more stalls, the list goes on. So why do we from Deltona have to take our funds, our money, and not have access to our own parks? It's extremely unfair, and it's not unfair to me. I represent one generation of my son, Caleb Pereira, but there are parents here who have 3 generations of athletes that have been playing here, and those parents no longer play at Dewey. Those children that live in our area do not have the opportunity to play in their own parks, which is weird. No children, no youth, no future. So what is the end goal here? I don't know what the situations are and how the math works, but honestly, it was said to me that it was repeated from the same member that rec ball is dying to travel ball. Travel ball is not what we do. We do tournament local baseball. Travel ball is Texas, Ohio, Georgia. That is travel ball. The biggest threat to recreational baseball is not the tournament baseball. It's the people in charge of the parks who are gatekeeping the parks. Thank you for your time.
Guys, if I can just remind the residents, can we please hold it down out of respect for the people that are coming to speak next? I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
That ends public comment.
All right. This time, we're going to go ahead and enter into public hearing resolution number 2024-46, adopting the tentative millage rate levy of ad valorem taxes for fiscal year 2024-2025.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I have a few slides on the screen here to give you a little backup. So budget 24-25, so the current millage rate is 7.35, as you see up in the corner. The trim notice that was mailed out to the residents was 7.2, approved by the commission about a month ago or so. Our request tonight is actually to lower the millage rate down to 7.0, 0.2 drop, and actually 0.35 from where it currently is. So this is a trajectory showing where we've been going from 17 or so through 22. it was about 7.85, and then a few years ago, 7.6, 7.3 this year, 7.35, and now we're asking about 7. So this chart is a fantastic example of going in the right direction, which is bringing the millage down over time. So just for general information across the board, this gives you an idea of the taxes that people pay, city taxes. If you notice the first three columns, or the first three rows with the last column, it's about 63% of residents pay less than $1,000 in city taxes.
Mr. Doherty, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just for clarification, we have, or for notification, it seems like we have Commissioner Shimkus now joining us via Zoom or Team Meets.
Is he on?
I didn't notice him before. I apologize. Go ahead.
Okay. He's been on?
Okay, I didn't hear.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, so continuing on that screen, you'll see that 36% of the residents, 14,000 homes, actually pay greater than 1,000. So as we talk about numbers here, literally 63, 2/3 of the community itself, it's less than $1,000. And like I said, it could be 500, 400, 700 in city taxes. As we move to the next slide, this will give you a good breakdown of what we're looking at between rollback to 7.0, 7.2, 7.35. If we kept the millage rate at 7.35, the bottom column, that would be actually a positive tax increase, or at least revenue to the city of $1.6 million. Going to 7.2, which was what the trim notice was, is $965,000 to the positive. Going to rollback, we'd be going backwards about $1,096,000, which would be basically cutting into our reserves at that point. So looking at 7.0, the staff feels very confident that that's a good number to be at. 7.2 is fine, but certainly for efficiency in taxes, we can go to 7.0. This gives you an idea of the actual tax reduction. So you have the millage rate, 7.35 in the, I'm having trouble reading my own numbers here. One of the interesting parts as we talked about this, and we talked individually with commissioners, was sometimes you're lowering the millage rate, but the first response is, yeah, but your taxes are still going up. So as much as you lower the millage rate. In this situation, lowering the millage rate actually lowers everybody's taxes. So at 7.0, as you go across the chart, certainly the rollback, the second column, would take it back even lower. But then as we can talk about rollback and some issues that happen there. But at 7, for someone with a $100,000 tax value, you're looking 735 goes to 700, they're saving $35 a year. 200, they're saving $70 a year. So again, this is a combination of lowering the millage as well as actually lowering the taxes per property. Give you a quick idea of where the taxes actually go. You're looking at public safety, 44% of the taxes actually go to it, general government next, culture and recreation, and then transportation at the end. Give a quick breakdown on where the money actually goes throughout the community. And then your next slide here is the percentage itself. When people say they pay taxes, a lot of times they think it's just to the city. So whatever your tax bill is, 36% comes to Deltona, 29% to Volusia County, school board's 27%, and then other is 7% across the board. So when people say my city taxes are high, we're not the ones receiving 100% of the taxes. But to give you a quick little breakdown on some of the changes we made in the budget recently, as you could tell, reducing the millage by 0.35 is actually a reduction of $1.6 million to the city. Some of the things we talked about upstairs a little bit, but in general, the fire training complex and new fire station engineering, they were in the $500,000 range. Since we're not moving forward at this moment, we've reduced that down basically to a placeholder of about $100,000 to $150,000. Any of those as they move forward, staff is going to bring it back to the commission for a major discussion. So we would not be moving forward on anything for 100, 150, but there's no need to put a lot of money towards it until we're ready to move forward. The commission did move forward on purchasing transport at a deal of, I believe, saving about $50,000 just the last couple of meetings. So we took one of those transports off the budget for the future. We removed some parked vehicles, removed the phone system. That was actually done this past year recently, but it was still in there. We added some things like the Menzie, as we talked about, that's going to help in swale renovation as well as ponds. The City Hall chiller and elevator replacement, it's a 50-50 if the elevator is going to go to the second floor on the other side of the building. It's good luck on that. That's a Disney operation there. So we're also looking at the chamber and lobby renovations. As I mentioned upstairs a little bit, we're looking at speaking with the college to try to work with their internal interior design organization to see if we can get some college kids maybe to work on a project for the renovation here of this table itself that clearly looks like a temporary operation, as well as the lobby and the back lobby for those that haven't been on the backside. Leaves a lot to be desired. And park-free summer camp, this is something we've been talking about, is we have limited facilities, as mentioned even earlier. We have West Crow building, pretty much, that's it. And we have parks, but we don't have anybody stationed at the park specifically that can run a program for kids. This is not a cost program for the kids. It's this year we're going to try to do it as a test theory of female and a male at 6 of the parks, where it's kind of a drop-in. Kids in the neighborhood. It's a sign-in originally to register the program, but it's not every day coming and going, signing in and out. It's just having a couple of adults there that could play games, programs with the kids. We can bring K-9 unit for a day. We can bring the fire trucks out for a day. Those are miscellaneous things. But it's really keeping the kids off the streets and keeping them in a safe area. Those kids that are involved in cliques, they're going to be at their homes playing video games and all that. There's a lot of kids that are out there just kind of wandering and walking by themselves. This gives them an opportunity to come to our park system. That's something we're going to look to do this year. It's kind of old school recreation, basically. A number of special events we've added across the board here: chili cook-off, movies in the park, the concert series at the amphitheater, Irish Fest, and a number of different things we're looking to add here. And then one other is the sheriff station consideration. We put a little money in for that. I'm talking to the county now in reference to building a new sheriff station, possibly. This is a long-term plan, certainly not something in the next year. But we're a city of 100,000 people, and for those that have been to the sheriff station, you might have got yourself in trouble. For those that just know where the station is, it's a postage stamp, not very big for a city as big as we are. So talking to the county now, the hope would be that the county would take on the cost to build, but it's something I think that we should start to look at and discuss. So just back to that original slide of showing that the commission is absolutely, the last couple of years, going in the correct direction. And from speaking with staff and going through the budget as we have since I've been here, I think we're going in the right direction in the next couple of years for sure. And that's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
We'll start with Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm totally enjoying that the millage rate is going down. It's still an increase over the rollback, but it's still going down. But I know it's up, but I see you just put all these different things on there that we're supposed to do, and all the things that you're asking for, and you have plans. We're talking about the summer camp. I just hope you get with that team that was just here and talk with them about some of the programs, because I know we don't usually interact with the public with the comments, but I really hope you get with the coaches and the teams that live in this city and want to do stuff in this city and address that, because it was very disheartening for us up here.
Commissioner Harriet. Is there any public comment?
Brandy White, please.
Brandy White, Deltona. I just want to reiterate that originally it was 7, right? Before everybody got surprised that it was 7.2 the day of the meeting. That .2 was already fluff. Can we go back to the slide that says major changes? Okay. All the ones that say removed, what is the total cost of that? And all the ones that say added, what is the total cost of that?
We'll make sure somebody gets back with an answer.
Before it's approved, because probably not, right? Yeah. Okay, well, I won't waste my time then. I proved the point.
That ends public comment.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I came up with a little list. I like that we reduced it to 7.0. I'm still stuck on a full rollback. That's just me. And here's the reasoning why, right? I have 2 little girls under the age of 2 or age of 3. So these are some of the things that I'm looking and I'm seeing and I'm hearing from my residents that's affecting them, right? For food that you have to buy for kids between kindergarten and 12th grade, food increase is up 66%. Car insurance is up 54%. Eggs are up 47%, gas is up 51%, electricity 31.7%, rent is up 22%, groceries in general are up 21.6%. Everything's going up, and I get it. You know, we have to run the city. I can't vote in favor of something knowing that all my residents are hurting one way or another. There has to be other ways for us to get the majority of the things that we want to get done without affecting the residents in the way that we're going to end up affecting them. That's my 2 cents. Commissioner McCool and then Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for bringing that up because that is a very good point. Everything is going up. So when we say everything is going up for our expenses also, not just resident expenses. And as it was so pointed out in this chart, go back to look at the hospital authority, go back to look at county taxes, go back to look at, and then look at our public safety features. Public safety, 44% of our budget. So when we come back to municipal taxes and what we're actually charging for this municipality, it's not the municipality. We are trying to do more with less and have cut down. And I know that the scholarship was one of the things that keeps getting brought up. I'm sorry, I'm solid on my position on continuing to fund and make sure that kids are funded on that. Look at our millage rate going down. We are headed in the right direction. It is not the city of Deltona that is taxing our poor residents to death. If our residents can get on board with us and talk to the state is where the most of these, and county is where most of these initiatives are coming down. This is where we're getting taxed. It's not at a municipal level. Go to the county and talk to them. Go to education and talk to them. These are all set by the state and the county. This is the lion's share of money. So when we talk about everything going up, everything is going up. And I think that what we're trying to do is balance what we see as need for every economic scale of our residents with what we need to run a municipality so that kids continue to play in the parks for free, so that we can continue to have good public safety. At this juncture right here, we need a new fire station in our town of 100,000. Go back and look at the state report and what the state is saying about our level of service as far as what we have for firefighters and fire stations. We should be ashamed. You know, the prudent thing is to put aside money as we move through this process for a new station. Because everything now, I want you to be understanding this too, anything now that we go ask the state for, water projects, anything, fire department, they're gonna make us go through a grant funding process. You know who's in charge of that? The state. So when I tell you it is not the city that is knocking the hole out of your pockets, it is not the city. Please let us move forward intelligently. We have to run the city. We have to provide services to the residents. We have to provide proper stormwater management. And I understand people are trying to eat, but we're not setting at the city these money. We are not dumping money out. We're trying to run a city in an effective manner. Everything is going up. So thank you.
Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Dana. While I agree with almost all of that, I will have to disagree with the scholarships. But thank you guys. But to the other points, this commission and previous commissions have also done a good job of responsibly reducing our tax bills, or reducing the millage, and allowed us to build up a reserve so that we can afford a fire station in the next few years. As many residents, I take that back, more residents that have reached out about the tax bill going up, more have reached out about the quality of our parks, the quality of our activities. The baseball team today is one of, I've gotten many messages over the last week about drainage at our ball fields, about fences and maintenance at all of our fields. So there's also a need to maintain the infrastructure that we have. And then also I wanted to touch on stormwater. We all know stormwater is a huge issue, specifically in District 1. Like Doc had mentioned, the Minzy muck truck, I'm grateful that that is in the budget. That will help us a lot with moving water around to where it needs to go. I live on Lake DuPont, and I mowed farther down into the lake than I have in the last few years. And so I am excited to be able to get a piece of machinery that can help us put water back into the lake and get it off of the streets and out of people's yards and put it where it needs to go. So, thank you.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee, and then Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Respectfully, I agree with some and disagree with other. You know, the millage rate, we just raised the stormwater rates, the trash and everything else to make up for it, but that's a whole different argument. I get it. But yet we spend money. And we're talking about all this money that's on there, the things he's taken out of the budget and added to the budget. You got $500,000 to redo this room in the budget. $500,000. There's nothing wrong with this room, but that's in the budget. It's $500,000 to redo this room. That's what's in the budget. So that's a half a millage point. There's things we can still do. I understand we need to upgrade. It's been like this for a while. I get it. I totally agree. The back lobby, like was said earlier, when you come in the back door, it does. It looks like you're entering into a jail to go see somebody. It does. But to fix things that ain't broke right now, just because it's ugly, doesn't mean we have to throw all our money at it. You know, we're talking about these parks and everything else. I don't know if you remember, but just a year ago, we were voted on hundreds of thousands of dollars to refield the ball fields and everything else. We did all that. Why are we still having issues if we just spent all this money to redo them? And talking about stormwater and everything else, we're going to have problems with water forever. If people ain't been here that long, Deltona's original name was Deltona Lakes. We've shortened it. It's now just Deltona. What happens when you play with Mother Nature after a while? She comes back and bites you. We've let developers build everywhere in this city, fill in dirt, and now we're having issues with water. We've brought, not us, but the city has invited most of these problems ourselves by just letting everybody do whatever they want. I have a problem, like what the mayor said, everything's costing more money. I know people will make the argument, we want to work as a city, and it costs more money ourselves. And you know, the city has to pay more money because the prices went up. You know, people on fixed incomes and stuff like that are having major issues. You see where people are moving out of Deltona all the time. Our taxes are higher here. We pay more than just about anywhere in Central Florida to live. That is crazy. But that's just my opinion. I agree with you, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. So I've been sitting up here for 6 years, and for 6 years, the city has not increased the millage rate. It has been 7.35 for 6 long years. It has not been increased. Thank you, City Manager, for bringing up that chart. Thank you, City Manager, for bringing up that chart showing where all the taxes that are paid by our residents goes to. I have visited a few of my residents complaining about their tax bill. And once I sat down with them and showed them the breakdown that you just saw up there, they understood their tax bill a little better. Board of Education, I know a lot of people say, well, I have no children in the schools. Why should I pay for the Board of Education? I don't have children either. But I am glad to pay for our children to get a better education, because those are our future. The West Volusia Hospital Authority, I don't use them. I have my retirement benefits. I have all the benefits I can be blessed with. But there are people who don't have those medical benefits, and that's what West Volusia Hospital Authority does. For people who don't have medical coverage, And if they go to the hospital and don't have the payments, they can qualify right there on site. That's a big tax that we pay. So there are things that we would not want to pay, but unfortunately, we have to make that payment as we go through the years. So coming down to 7.0, I think, is a big difference for the residents this year. I think the commissioners have made a wise decision, a good decision. I think it's been a reasonable decision, and it still does not hurt the city in the funds that are needed to move our city forward and make whatever repairments have to be made. I was told that I should not make a motion when it comes to taxes because my husband, as a 100% retired Vietnam veteran, does not pay taxes. I was told that. But I am, Mayor, going to make a motion. I move to approve resolution number 2024-46, adopting the tentative millage rate for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Vila Vasquez. There's a second by Commissioner Harriet. Before we vote, I just want to reiterate, it's not, in good conscience, I'm not going to be able to vote for this. I've given my many reasons. I, too, have sat down with many of my residents. I can explain it all day long. I don't need to fearmonger people. You know, I don't feel good about it. I'm happy that we're reducing it still, but I don't feel confident. I want to see us go to a full rollback. That's just my 5 cents. Can we please go for a vote?
Can you call Troy for a vote?
Verbal vote, that's fine. We'll start. Go ahead.
Commissioner Villasquez? Yes. Commissioner Colwell?
No.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner McCool?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimkus?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
No.
Mayor Vila?
No. Motion passes 4-3. No?
No.
Oh, you need,
It's only 4. Supermajority is only if we want to fire you.
we're good? All right. All right, so I have to read this now, right? All right. All right, this is a public hearing to hear and consider comments and questions regarding the city tentative millage rate and proposed annual budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025. The city of Deltona hereby proposes a tentative millage rate of 7.0. The tentative millage rate reflects a 3.35% increase from the rolled back rate of 6.7730 mils. The tentative millage rate is higher than the rollback rate of 6.7730 in order to cover increased operating costs. This has a minimum of 5 votes. All right, we got to get these notes done correctly. That's fine. All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward. This is for the budget. This is not for the mills. This is not for the millage rate.
The DR 420 form that's required by the state states that it's anticipated your vote. Maximum the majority of them.
How much we pay for them?
Okay. All right, this time we're going to go ahead and move forward to public hearing resolution number.
Announce those results.
We did 4-3. It passed. Public hearing resolution number 2024-47, adopting the tentative annual budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. We're in public hearing, we're in section B. Is anybody going to talk? If not, I'll open up to public comment. Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
Go ahead, open up, Mayor. We just kind of, that was part of the original presentation, a little bit included the budget itself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
There's a lot of things in the budget I liked, a lot of things I disagree with, but at the same time, if I come back, if I just voted no on the millage rate, it's hard to vote on a budget that's based on a millage rate that I didn't like. That's just my opinion. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. At this time, the floor is now open to hear public comments and to take any questions from the public.
Albert Bryan, please.
Let's see here. I'm glad y'all showed that Mincy machine. You understand that the Mincy machine that we had, oh, that's right, Public Works hit a power line with it and fried it. So we're having to pay to replace a negligent problem. I got it, okay. We have engineering costs going up 50%. We have Public Works costs going up 408%. We have a city manager that in his actual budget is going up 55% for operating costs. What were those numbers you threw out earlier for increase? Only 20, 30% at the max? And yet we got all these big numbers that doesn't equate out. Oh, fire department operating costs up 48%. And yet, oh, I didn't think I heard anything over like 35% in inflation. Now, I want to correct something that was actually said earlier in the upstairs meeting, because it was said that, our illustrious attorney was in the budget. Well, what we got back here on the table and what we got back in the agenda, it says, oh, nothing. You want to see what we get from the public? Don't show me that. That's not what I got. This is what I got. It says nothing. So she gave her back her pay, I'm assuming, for this year, because it shows nothing for last year. Nothing. And this is what you're giving to the public. Is this what we call misdirection, misinformation? What we call a flat-out lie, as the way I see it. When you put something in the agenda, it's for us to view. When it says nothing, it means that she gave back her pay to me. And I know damn well she didn't give her pay back. Did you? Right, see? So how can this show last year's budget as nothing? Zero. And we wonder why we look at this place and say, what the heck is going on? Why can't we trust you people? That's why. That's why we can't trust you. The numbers here do not lie. I don't care what his numbers say in his book, because that's not what we were given. On the back table, this is what we were given. It says that she made nothing last year. And I know that's a flat-out lie. We're going to take and pass a budget this year on a lie. Oh, that's right. Last year we passed a budget that didn't have any of the actual funds in it. Isn't that amazing how that was done last year? And you wonder why we don't trust you from year to year when it comes to our budget.
Brandy White, please.
Brandy White, Deltona. Y'all know this is my favorite topic. First, I want to clear up the confusion with the city attorney. Budgeting, it's in there under operating expenses. Why it's not under personnel is beyond me, because pretty sure that's a paycheck she gets. So it would be under personnel, not operating expenses, and that's going to create a lot of confusion, right? So just to throw that out there, if you look, it's under operating, but personnel does show zero out. I'm sure we do have personnel. As for the specific budget, I asked, the last time I stood here, several budget questions per the request of this commission to you, my elected representatives, and I was told we would get answers 24 to 48 hours. It's been almost a month. Not one single one of my questions were answered. And I only went through one tab so that it would be small amount of information I'm requesting. In addition, the set of questions I asked before, only a few were answered, and they were not even correctly answered because that wasn't the question I was given. The answer does not fulfill the question. But here we are again, and we're supposed to say, we support this budget, but you can't answer the most simple of questions that were asked, most of which was about increases from last year's budget. These are things y'all should know by now. That we're in it. I didn't get one answer. You asked me to address you, Mayor, because it was public comment. I addressed you. The question went to all of you. My commissioner, the question went to you. I received no answers from anybody. No follow-up, no we're looking into it, nothing. Again. But you pushed transparency. You pushed come be active in your community. Come ask questions. We want to answer them. Some people got theirs answered in 24 to 48 hours. I wasn't one of them. Does anybody here tonight have any answers to the questions on the budget items, line items that I specifically pointed out? Any. I'll accept any of them. That's all I needed to know.
Real quick, Mayor, for everybody's education, the reason that the city attorney's listed under operating is because she is paid on a contract, not as a city employee. So that's why it's in the appropriate account line. And I didn't get any emails.
I said it from the podium.
So
we have to follow this very strict script. Let's keep moving forward with
Kathy
public
Bryan,
comment,
please.
Kathy Bryan, Deltona. A couple of my questions got answered on a very high-level general answer without any kind of specifics. I've spoken to different people, and I, yes, they absolutely need this, they absolutely need that. I say there's always room for more cuts. The thing we had up, and I know you did that before the millage rate, but by that time I didn't realize I might want to discuss that. Some of the things you had up there, like the parks, the summer camps and stuff like that, have you guys given any consideration to safety? Like, you're going to drop a kid off at a park to do activities and stuff. What about, do they have allergies? Do they need medicine? What about water, injury waivers? I just want to make sure we're not opening the city up for lawsuits. And I hate to say that, but this is a litigious society. A lot of the scholarship issue, I think if it were done better, and maybe on a more fair basis, that maybe people might be a little more open to that. As for your firefighter and stations, I'm all about public safety. But if the state's saying that, we're not doing the job, why don't we cut them to 12 hours and reduce the overtime, hire more firefighters, give them more pay instead of paying the same ones overtime all the time. Yes. I knew people who lived off of overtime, and when it stopped, they were told all the time, you can't base your budget on overtime. Because overtime, why not just, what's the point? Pay them more and hire more so that you get retention. It makes no sense to do it any other way. As for some of the redoing, the revamping of City Hall or other areas, if it's out of code, if there's health hazards like mold, et cetera, fine. I do like the idea, love the idea of incorporating the college. I think that and your high schools have a lot of specialty areas within them that you can use for different things to help out. But how many people can afford to redecorate their house right now? I agree with Mr. Jody Lee. I think the chambers are just fine. So let's really think about needs again and not what you think you want. And maybe it is a need, but maybe we don't need it this year again. So that's all I got.
Courtney Cross-Burgos, please.
Hello again. Doc, I think a lot of those things were really good. I like a lot of them. I was surprised that I did, but I did. But I do agree with Jody Lee as well that there's a lot of things in there that are more wants than needs at this point. Maybe we could do something in here for less than, what was it, $500,000, $500,000? That's a lot of money. And Dana, you say you want to get things done and the needs and whatever and the firefighters. So let's give that money from the scholarships to the firefighters. Because we already pay taxes to the kids, like Maritza said, we pay taxes to send all the kids to school, and that's good, I agree. I don't have any kids here either. I don't have any problem with paying that. We want smart kids. But right now, we need to focus on what we need, not what we want, and the scholarship is not a need. And there's other ways that we can fund that besides taxpayer money. And, I agree, firefighters need more. I don't know if it's more people, more money, I don't know. But I'd rather put my money towards the fire department and the emergencies and the safeties than redoing this room and sending kids with scholarships to college that don't even live in Deltona. So, thank you.
That is such a false narrative. Excuse me?
Let's move on, please.
Oh, no, let her say what she said.
No, guys, point of order.
Pat Blodgett, please.
Mayor, for clarification on that topic, there is a budget for facility renovations. The $500,000 is not a guaranteed price of what things would cost to renovate the building, the lobby, this room. It's actually a separate fund, so it's not coming out of taxpayer money this year, and we don't have a set contract that says we're going to spend $500,000. It's saying if we're going to move forward on the project, that money will come out of a separate fund that already is in place now. That's not new taxes, and those projects would certainly come back to the commission to make any final decisions.
Mayor.
So it is not a $500,000.
Guys, we have to stay on this very specific script.
I understand.
Commissioner comments will come after I close the participation to the public.
Hi, Pat Blodgett. A lot of our questions, like Brandy said, were never answered, and we were supposed to get answers, and we just never got answers. Is there a reason why we didn't get them? I know we didn't get them within 48 hours, but we didn't even get them yet. Some of them got answered, but not all of them, and we're supposed to vote on a budget that you had all the things on that list of all the things that you're not going to do and all the things that you're going to do. How much this is, how much that is, where is the money? Like, are we saving 500 here and spending 10,000 there? In this room? What's the matter with this room? Come on. And I won't go there, Dana, about the scholarships, but you know how I feel about the scholarships. We need to pay for other things besides somebody else's kids. Okay, it's a good thing to have, but the Rotary was going to do it, and now I heard that it's not. We just need to watch our money.
That ends public comment.
This time, I'm going to close the public participation period and open it up to City Commission comments and questions. Commissioner Harriet, then Commissioner McCool.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager, I just wanted to confirm that the facility renovations that you just spoke about, those still have to come back to the commission in order to actually expend those funds. So we're just putting a placeholder in there so that we can do something if need be and time allows.
Correct, absolutely. It's not a set contract, nor is it new money and new taxes to actually do it. And the money is there as we have a tree fund with money in it. We also have city facility renovation money that's sitting there also that could be used.
And we're not saying that we're going to spend $500,000 on this room. We're saying that there's a bunch of projects that we would like to address with that pot of money.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner McCool, and then Vice Mayor Jody.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to clear up a couple of things here regarding that because this has been a bone of contention, and I would like clarification here. First of all, the scholarships have never, ever gone to a child outside the city of Deltona, period, end of sentence. That false narrative was brought up because the scholarship process was advertised in a Port Orange-type penny saver crier. So the scholarships have never gone. It's $50,000 a year that we give to make sure that our kids are taken care of. I stand behind that. At $50,000 a year for our children, that's 50 cents a week per resident, 50 cents a year per resident, okay, for the scholarship. Second of all, I do not have children in school either, but I pay school taxes, okay? We are a community. You find me, because I've asked, and I don't mean anyone in particular, I'm putting it out there right now. If you are a business, a civic group, a group of citizens that would like to replace the money that we use to make sure that these children are educated or they're helped educated, call me. I'll put my number out there. You got it, call me. But until such time happens, there is something that I can do as a commissioner with my vote to ensure that our children have a chance of a future. There are also things that I pay for that I don't participate. I pay for ADA compliance in the city. I'm not handicapped. I don't have any need to park in a closed parking space, but part of my responsibility of being communal is to pay for that. We are a community. So I just want to clear up the fallacies about that particular thing. I stand behind it. I stand behind it taking care of our kids. I'll continue to stand behind it. Not changing my vote. Sorry. Until some civic, we had a 19% rate of people show up to vote. That's how much people participate. Sorry, I'm finishing up. So you tell me the people that are bum rushing to make sure that these children are taken care of. And I'll gladly turn that scholarship process over to them. Until such time, though, as a commissioner, I'm taking care of our children. And the lie that money goes outside of Deltona needs to be squashed once and for all. I know that we do have a presentation. Do we not, Mr. City Manager, someone coming up to really clarify that process, sir?
Yes, Monday's workshop, Commissioner.
Thank you very much for that. Because BS is BS, and to continue to perpetuate that is BS. So thank you for taking care of that and getting it cleared up. There's no favoritism there. Any child or any child's parent is welcome to go forward with an application. If a child doesn't complete an application properly and go through the process, they don't continue through the process. So that's probably a parental thing. There's lots of guidance to help these kids get through it. So to say the other stuff is disingenuous, and I want it to be on the record to state as such, that we take care of our community, the money stays in the community. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make one little comment or thing that I noticed that Commissioner Hurrah, you said that no matter what money that's going to be spent is going to come back to us, like the rebuilding and everything else. But if you look at the consent item E, granted we talked about it earlier, but consent item E is redoing our procurement, where if we said yes to it, he could spend money in the budget and not come back to us. See how that game is played?
That's not true.
I'm glad we caught it, But it got set at 25,000 because there was a previous manager that used to spend money and, because it was in the budget, and got over on it. Then the Mr. Peters changed it, I believe, so it stopped at 25,000, but they still found ways to do checks of 5,000, so it didn't have to come back to us. And this procurement process that he wants to change is going to, granted, we talked about it now and it's going to be on the thing, but that would subvert us, which he could just turn around and spend all the money he wants without coming back here. So I just want everybody to know that. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Harriet?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. That's exactly why we discussed earlier, and the city manager has asked to pull that item because of challenges that all of us had with it. And I certainly had a few. Thank you.
Is there any other city commission comments or questions?
Yes, sir, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Commissioner Shimkus.
Thank you. I just wanted to say quickly that I appreciate the city's efforts to lower the millage rate. I think that is the right direction. And when it comes to this budget, there's always going to be things that where we can go back and forth on every little item, and that's the way budgets go. And I respect what many residents are saying about many items. I just want to kind of say the narrative that the city is somehow operating close to bankruptcy, and if we spend $20,000 painting City Hall, we're going to be bankrupt next year, is just not correct. The city is financially healthy, and putting projects off for another year does not make them cheaper, because nothing we do next year is going to be cheaper than it's going to be this year. So I think it's important for the city to realize that while we have the resources, because we have been able to build our funds and build our reserves over the last 6 years, that we need to use those responsibly. And I'm never going to say that we just give everyone carte blanche and let them go on the budget with no restrictions. But I think overall, although we disagree on line item points here and there, and we always will, I do think overall the city is financially healthy and we are moving in the right direction. And I do appreciate the efforts of our new city manager in addressing these concerns that we've all had. So thank you for that.
Okay. This time the city commission proposed, is there anybody on the city commission that would propose a motion?
Where am I? I don't know why everybody's so blocked up here, so frozen. I mean, I move to approve resolution number 2024 I got it, Troy. I move to approve resolution number 2024-47, adopting the tentative budget for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
There's a motion by Commissioner Villa-Vasquez, second by Commissioner Shimkus. I'm going to go ahead and read a resolution of the City of Deltona, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative annual general fund, special revenue funds, enterprise fund, and capital projects fund budgets for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024 and ending September 30th, 2025, providing an effective date. Can we please do a city commission vote?
Commissioner Villa-Vasquez? Yes. Commissioner Colwell?
No.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner McCool?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimkus?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
No.
Mayor Avila?
No. The motion passes. And at this time, that closes public hearing.
We need 5 votes.
That one needs a simple 4 votes. This time, we're going to go ahead and move to public hearing ordinance number 10-2024, vacating portions of the rights-of-way known as Florida Avenue and Clear Street associated with the Davis Park plat at final hearing.
Can I just make a motion to approve this? Sorry, Jessica.
Oh, you're okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'd like to just make a motion to approve this item.
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet and a second by Vice Mayor Jody Lee. Is there any public comment? No? Can we please go for a vote?
Sorry, Jessica, I know you want to talk.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez? Yes. Commissioner Colwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner McCool?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimkus?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Yes.
Mayor Avila?
Yes.
A special thank you for clearing up the language as far as the surveys go. Little things matter. Thank you very much. Take that back to your boss. It was appreciated.
This time we're going to go ahead and move to public hearing ordinance number 09-2024, amending the official zoning map to rezone 10.10 acres of land located at 3141 Howland Boulevard from general commercial C2 and business plan unit development BPUD to BPUD at first hearing.
I'd like to just make a motion.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
For approval.
Vice Mayor.
So you can't because it's a quasi-judicial. I have to turn it over to Marcia
Let's
first.
go. Can we do it?
Witnesses, experts are going to be testifying, if they could be sworn in also. No, we don't have any of that. Just you and me, Jessica. You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do. Thank you.
So,
And also, Mr. Mayor, if you would please advise your board to,
Yes.
as
Ex
to
parte.
ex parte communications. Thank you.
if each commissioner, if they can please provide any ex parte communications, we'll start with Commissioner Harriet.
No.
Commissioner Shimkus.
None.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
None.
Commissioner McCool.
None.
Commissioner Colwell.
None.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
None.
Myself, yes, I've spoken to the property owners a couple of times about the designs and things like that. This time, we're going to go to a presentation before the Vice Mayor tries to kill me with a bullet. Presentation, staff report by Jessica.
All right, ordinance number 09-2024 is for the rezone for Lehigh BPUD. The applicant is requesting to rezone a C2 and BPUD parcel into a BPUD zoning. This will allow the applicant to better utilize the land. This is the master development plan for the BPUD. You can see there are 77 covered RV spaces with both extra on both sides, on the back, in the side. And you will have the medical offices in the front, fronting Howland, so the storage will be hidden in the back. You can also see this in the elevations that the storage will not be seen from Howland Boulevard. The rezone is consistent with the comprehensive plan. It both provides jobs, or it will provide jobs for the residents, and no mistakes were made with the original zoning. A full environmental study will be required before any construction can begin. We'll review that during the site plan. Here are some of the comp plan goals and policies that the rezone follows, which include consistent with the future land use and bringing jobs to the city on major corridors and near the activity center. And based on decision-making criteria, staff does support the City Commission approving ordinance number 09-2024, amending the current zoning of BPUD and C2 to BPUD at 3141 Howland Boulevard with the condition that the developers shall perform a field review and signal warrant analysis at the intersection of Howland and Rose Apple Avenue, which is the project driveway, after the development is fully occupied. And are there any questions?
Is there any question by the commission? None? All right.
I'm sorry, I would like to have a couple of questions.
Go ahead, Commissioner Shimkus.
Just a general question. I'm not sure if the applicant's there, but you mentioned RV storage. I'm just curious, does this have the capacity of helping some of our residents who are truck drivers who have nowhere to park their large trucks? Is something that's going to be allowed on this property as an opportunity?
I believe so, but we do have the applicant that can answer that.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission. For the record, Mark Watts with the law firm of Cobb Cole, 231 North Woodland Boulevard, DeLand. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. The answer to that is yes. We've heard that that is one of the key demands and key needs in the city. This will provide an opportunity for it together with RV and boat storage, which doesn't independently exist in the city. So I don't really have a lot to say other than that. I want to thank staff. They've done a great job working with us on this. Tim Manco, our client, and his team did a really great job really listening to your economic development staff, because this came in as a very different project in the beginning. The whole office complex and medical office component and everything else came about because of the partnership working between our client and your staff. So well done, and we're here for any questions.
Thanks. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Appreciate that, because that has been a need in the city. The other comment I have, really more of a comment than a question, is this. I have concerns that echo developments that happened in the facility across the street, just in terms of Howland being the traffic kind of bottleneck that it has become. And as we continue to build more on Howland, with these kind of developments coming in directly, not having adequate turn lanes, so coming in and off of Howland, we already have problems at the Dunkin' Donuts across the street, what's going in next to Dunkin' Donuts, that new oil change place. So I just want to put out there that I'd like to make sure that we're aware of that with all parties moving forward, that when we do our reviews, that we maybe, I would love to see us go above and beyond. I understand requirements are minimal, and we may be able to say that, yes, this meets minimum standards by not increasing any availability there, but I'd like to see if we can kind of push the envelope a little bit and ensure that we are putting safety first and understanding that those traffic issues are there currently.
So just in response to that, one of the things that, right now we're here asking you to approve the uses. The connection design and everything else is part of your site plan process. So when we work with the county to issue a use permit for the connection to Howland, we'll have to analyze that, including the turn lane lengths and everything else that will be required. One of the things we're also potentially exploring is the possibility of having an access that comes out the back at some point in the future as well to help with that circulation. That would be something we'd deal with down the line if we have those rights. So very well understood on that point. And one of the things we're having to do with the county now on all projects is look at safety as a key part of the analysis.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee, did you have some questions, or did you?
Well, I wanted to thank him, for one, for saying nice stuff about Jessica. It's been running the planning department, so her and her group prior to the new director getting here, because this was all you and your crew. So I want to appreciate the nice words you're saying about Jessica and their crew. That's good that the city staff was working with you. It's nice to hear that things are going smooth. And the other thing is, if you don't have any questions, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. Oh, yeah.
It's a quasi-judicial.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay, go ahead.
Commissioner McCool.
Thank you very much. Same thing, sentiments, Jessica. Thank you all for addressing, especially as we have Howland as an E, one letter off from an F. So thank you in recognition for that. Thank you to the applicant for understanding, too, the importance of a current TIA. It really made my heart happy to understand that and to take that closer look with the analysis regarding that, the turning and the in and egress of this property. So Jessica, hats off again for an amazing job that you've done. To the applicant for understanding what our concerns are, the applicant attorney, thank you guys for understanding we're stepping up our development game here with going above and beyond on some of the things, and it's appreciated, and I hope that all future development hears that as we move forward also, so thank you.
Did you want to say something, Commissioner? Go ahead.
Thank you. I know I asked this question before, but have you decided how many stories is going to be in this building?
It permits the office buildings to be up to 3 stories.
3 stories. So there will be an elevator to comply with ADA?
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any presentations that the applicant would like to provide us?
Not unless you'd like to sit through another one.
All right. Is there any presentations from people with standing?
Real quick, Mr. Mayor. Well, we have the applicant up there.
Go ahead.
I would seriously like to encourage you guys to maximize that height. I think it's important, especially in this commercial corridor, that we increase that floor area ratio and go up as high as we can.
Yeah, absolutely true. I think we're hoping that we're able to hit that maximum height on everything. So
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. No, you said? Okay, perfect. Any public comments? None either. Now, at this time, we have you're more than happy to do the motion that you wanted to do. Okay, come up, sir. Sir, please come up. Yes. You're making general public comment? Hold on.
You have to swear in too.
Yes, everybody give me a minute. Sir, can you go before the podium and then you can swear in?
I assume you have the right or notice of this hearing? When I asked, are you?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Okay, would you raise your right hand?
Yep.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
My name's Dave Potts. I live on Red Fox Run, and it adjoins the property that's in question here. So were you just asking if the building can be higher?
I was clarifying that code allows it to go up to, I believe, 45 feet, 35 or 45 feet. And in that area, I would like to see commercial developments maximize that height so that they don't
Yeah, well, if
take
you
out as much.
maximize the height, you're looking into my property. That's what my concern is. I have other concerns about water drainage, lights, but I don't need to do that here. Are you people open that I can ask you questions? Sure. Yeah. I'd just like to get my concerns with them. Where is the water going to go? The pictures that you put up, everything's going to be buildings in asphalt. So the water on there, I don't need it draining down on my property. And that's all my concerns are about. Lights, is a PA system going to be in use there that I'm listening to all the time? Things like that. That's what my concerns were.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to accept yes for ordinance number 2024 amendment of official zoning map to rezone a 10.10 acres of land located at 3141 Howland Boulevard from general commercial C2 and business plan unit development to be put at first hearing.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Jody Lee, second by Commissioner McCool. Before we go to a verbal vote, can we have the city attorney please read the ordinance, and then we'll go to a verbal vote.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number 09-2024, an ordinance of the City of Deltona, Florida, amending the official zoning map to rezone plus or minus 10.10 acres of land located at 3141 Howland Boulevard from general commercial C2 and business plan unit development BPUD to BPUD, providing for conflict severability and providing for an effective date.
Commissioner Velasquez?
Yes.
Commissioner Colwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner McCool?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimkus?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Yes.
Mayor Avila?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously 7-0. Thank you. At this time, we're going to go ahead and move to public hearing resolution number 2024-37, accepting the final plat for Catalina Point RPUD to subdivide the commercial out parcel from the multifamily parcel on 36.6 acres of land located at 2965 Howland Boulevard. Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
If there's not public comments.
Is there any public comment?
Pamela Hicks, please.
I'm Pamela Hicks, Deltona. I just have some concerns about the project presented here, and I apologize that if I wasn't here for the first hearing, but I'm just now finding out about it. We live on Barrow Street, which is the street that runs off of Providence in that neighborhood directly across Catalina, like behind the dentist office there in the Circle K. And we already sometimes have problems with people wanting to avoid the traffic light and coming through our neighborhood to get to schools, to get to Catalina and to Providence. And when I heard about this project with how many people might be moving in there, traffic problems, because that's right where they'll be going to Galaxy Middle School, Timbercrest, Deltona High School, even down this way towards the college campus here. Already, that light at Catalina and Howland is full of traffic mornings and evenings. I just can't imagine a big housing area right there on that corner. And I was just concerned about where the entrances will be. Will they be coming out on Catalina? Will they be coming out on Howland? And how that's going to work with that traffic light and busy corner. I'm also concerned about when you have that much housing put in, what's going to happen as far as drainage, because we've had that as empty lots for a long time. And there are a lot of us in that area off of Catalina, residents like me, that have been there for over 25 years and really like where we are, and I'd hate to see it messed up. I'm not against development, but I really have some concerns about 36 acres of over, 200 dwellings, all to be rented, and what that might mean to our property value, to our water systems, to our traffic and our neighborhoods. We have kids that play out there close to the streets, and I can just see people speeding by, trying to use that dirt road. There's just all kinds of questions I have and concerns, so that's what I want to mention. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? No? Vice Mayor Jody Lee, you wanted to...
This is the final plat, so at this point, I'd like to, oh, I'm sorry. At the final plat, they have to come back before us with all the rest of the stuff. So at this point, I want to make a motion to approve the resolution number 20-24-37, accepting the final plat for Catalina RPUD to subdivide the commercial out parcel from the multifamily parcel on 36.6 acres of land located at 2965 Holland Boulevard.
There's a motion by Vice Mayor Jody Lee. Second by Commissioner Colwell, and then Commissioner Villa-Vasquez. Before you vote, did you want to say something?
Yes. We have a representative here. Is he going to be able to answer some of the residents' questions?
This is a final plat. It's more of a legal process. Those questions should have, that was something that we should have done before when we had the other hearings. But, I mean, if Mr. Storch wants to take down the residents' information.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. I'll be glad to talk to her.
Please.
Obviously, these questions can be answered, and it's important to answer our neighbors' questions. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Thank you.
This is, in fact, just a plat, though. It's a plat that allows for the commercial parcel to be sold separately from the rest of the property. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to ask the city manager to look into this issue with residents cutting through on Barrow Street. I think that's a very real issue that affects a lot of those neighbors. So if we could look into what we can do for that situation, but also in the future, I know we've got other areas in town where streets are used as cut-throughs.
Yeah, and just for the record, I should point out this. This is consistent with the comprehensive plan. This plat is consistent with zoning. It's consistent with the land development code. Staff has made a recommendation based on that. Therefore, it should be ministerial.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, City Clerk.
Commissioner Villa-Vasquez?
Yes.
Commissioner Colwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner McCool? Commissioner Shimkus?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Yes.
Mayor Avila?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
At this time, we're going to go ahead and move to old business. Request approval for the proportionate fair share agreement for Catalina Point Residential Planned Unit Development. Sorry?
Yeah, the applicant pulled that item.
Oh, the applicant pulled it? Okay, I didn't.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I was still at work when you guys were having the pre-meeting. So my apologies. We're going to go ahead and move to section B. Request to approve award of RFP number 24014 for a time and attendance solution to Andrews Technology HMS Inc.
Yes, Mayor, this is something the Commission's been talking about for some time, having a time and attendance system. There were 5 bidders. The staff as a committee chose Andrews Technology to take over the process. What it is basically is currently, and for some strange reason, the city still is using time cards and check sheets and paper and pen of keeping payroll. This system is fully automated, either from your computer, you're checking in, from finger punch or even eyeball check for staff. The only way it can be changed is someone at the management level working in their department, somebody checked in late but they were on site. Some subtle changes can be made, but it's pretty much as is. No longer is there a personnel in between trying to make sure that the payroll is correct. So that'll be very helpful, but this is a time and attendance solution that'll take us finally into the year 2000. And then one day, maybe we can move on further. So,
Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wonder, is this run in conjunction? I mean, we've discussed this many times, and like I said, we've put out before about doing a whole thing all in one payroll, time and attendance, everything. And like I mentioned in the meeting upstairs, it seems like it always gets pushed aside. The HR directors here, has this, I mean, I don't know who made has this already been through HR and everything else, and the HR director's on board with this and everything?
This is not an HR function. This is actually a finance function. Once the personnel's information background, I was directly involved in this situation in my other job. Once that information is put in place, it really becomes time and attendance for somebody checking in at the workplace, the manager approving the payroll going into finance to make sure that it's all approved. So HR will have its own ERP programs. There may be pieces that go to this, but it's not directly an HR function. It is a finance payroll function.
So we like we were talking about earlier, so there's still not to do payroll, time and attendance, all in one kit and caboodle like we've got consensus to do prior.
Well, just for this alone, as you see the bid numbers, this is $88,000 one time, $23,000 annual, up to $204,000. This includes the city still doing the actual checks, but it's through the computer system itself. Nobody's in finance department cutting checks, but someone in finance that is really overseeing payroll still is going to kind of do the minority report, watching the system, looking for any flaws, but they still have to take care of FMLA payments or any changes to the system. When you have a union, which we do have at least one of them here, you also have a lot of if-thens. If this, then overtime for that, or Kelly days, or some other issues. There still has to be a payroll person in our city. So it's, like I said, don't want to give the impression that there's someone actually writing checks. This is all done technology-wise right in the Munis, and the information is sent out. And finance can explain more if they'd like to. But.
Is this the company that was all done, and this was the thing that was done prior to you becoming our manager, or is this company since you got here?
No, they chose this without my involvement.
This is before you got here?
Andrews, well, they were going through the interviews. I didn't tell them. I have familiarity with the Andrews Technology. I have no problem working with them, but I did not tell the staff that until they made a decision who they were working with.
I don't think she was here yet when a decision was made, was she?
No, there's other staff from IT, as well as the payroll administrator, and 2 other people that were in the finance department were involved in choosing the companies. They went through the full bid process and sat and listened to all the presentations. And of the 5, Andrews seems to be the best that they chose.
Commissioner Harriet?
Vice Mayor, I think your concern is that there was an RFP that went out and the vendor that we perceived was going to be chosen was one that we had already had kind of concerns with. And this is separate from that. This isn't that vendor. Also, this system, I believe, it does everything but write the check. This does all the information, puts it all together. We upload it into to the financial system that actually then processes the check?
Yes, in
So-
theory, that's what these systems do. So
Perfect.
Puts it all through, it's collected and combined into a file. And I know I spoke to Robert earlier, so I know that he was part of that committee. He would be willing to speak on what they were told, but that is in concept what it does.
Yep. One of the things that I really liked about this this procurement and this company is that the references that they provided all included agencies that used the same ERP system that the city of Deltona uses. So we know for a fact that it will integrate into the system that we currently have. I think that's very important. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, is there any public comment? No? At this time, I'll entertain a motion. Go ahead.
Brandy White, Deltona. Now, when this came up previous years, some of the reasonings were people not being here when they were going on the clock. So does this include geofencing?
Go ahead.
Comment section, we answer some questions and not others, but yes, it would include that.
Okay, perfect. One of the other main issues that was brought up, and I'm not sure if this will correct that, so this is my question. We had a large loss in payroll section. This is previous finance department, I'd say about 4 years ago. I sat with them and we talked about the payroll losses. They do exist, and it is a high volume that exists. My question is, will this reduce that and catch the problem? So for example, one specific example that was shown to me, which had multiple examples underneath it, was regarding our benefits packages. What was occurring was the employee would leave, but for years we're still paying their benefit package. Is that going to stop that from happening? And if not, have we looked into correcting that specific issue? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. White. Any other public comment? No? This time I'll entertain a motion to either approve or deny.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet and second by Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Commissioner
Can we
Avila
please go
Vasquez?
with a verbal vote? Go ahead.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez?
Yes.
Commissioner Colwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimkiss?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Yes.
Mayor Avila?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. This time, we're going to go ahead and move to new business, Section A. Request approval for reimbursement to Starlight Homes Florida LLC, an amount not to exceed $74,157.72 as agreed upon in the Municipal Utility Installation and Reimbursement Agreement. This agreement was approved by the Commission on May 16, 2022, to cover the cost of upsizing the sanitary sewer infrastructure and available capacity.
Mayor, if there are no questions, I'd like to make a motion.
Is there any questions or public comment? Go ahead, Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
I move to approve the reimbursement to Straight Light Homes Florida LLC as agreed in the Municipal Utility Installation and Reimbursement Agreement between the city and Starlight Homes Florida LLC.
There's a motion by Commissioner Avila Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Colwell. Can we please have a verbal vote?
Commissioner Avila Vasquez?
Yes.
Commissioner Colwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimkiss?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee? Mayor Avila?
Yes. We still have to wait because Vice Mayor is here for him to vote in order to proceed to the next line item. No. You could have. Just yes or no? Is that what we have? Motion passes 6-0. No, but we have to make sure that you vote because you're present. At this time, we're going to go ahead and move to comments on consent items. Citizen comments are limited to the issues and concerns of the consent agenda items. Is there any?
Brandy White, please.
Real quick, before we go to that, can we just make sure that Doc is pulling?
Well, that comes next.
Okay, which was my only question. If E is going to be removed, I have no comments, but I want to confirm it's being removed since this is the only time I get to talk. Thank you.
All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and move to the consent agenda. If there is any item on the consent agenda that needs to be removed at this time, if there's any commissioner that wants to pull it.
I'd like to make a motion to remove E from the agenda.
You don't have to make a motion for it.
No, sorry. I'd like to E pulled.
All right, is there any other?
E.
Just E? Okay.
Sorry, hold on. For clarification, Doc is pulling E off of the agenda. It's not to be voted on.
You're going to pull it, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Staff will bring it back another time as we make some additional changes to it.
Is there then a motion to approve A, B, C, D, and then F through H?
I'll make the motion.
It's a motion?
Second.
You have to read out the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda A, B, C, D, F, G, H.
And there's a second by Commissioner Villa-Vasquez. Please go for a verbal vote.
Commissioner Villa-Vasquez?
Yes.
Commissioner Colwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimkus?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Yes.
Mayor Avila?
Yes. All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and go to, well, City Attorney's not here. City Manager comments?
Yep, thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. Pleased to announce Deltona University is sold out. It was sold out within a week. The inaugural class will have 30 students in the first semester, which will be 6 classes over the fall. It's good to see so many residents interested in learning more about their local government. Also, the Communications Department will soon be promoting a number of citywide events for the fall and the winter. Tonight, I just want to mention our plans to feature a chili cook-off. So whether you're a restaurant, an organization, or just a family who makes awesome chili, start thinking now about joining a winter event. A lot more details will be coming. Also, staff is working diligently on the Golden Book. As we've talked about the last couple of months, the Golden Book's an easy-to-read booklet for the city's most important laws and policies. It'll be also filled with information on how to contact each department when needed. Staff is hoping to have the Golden Book bid out, printed, and delivered to every Deltona home, hopefully before the end of the year. And just a final announcement for the workshop for next Monday. The 3 topics will include an update from Bainzinger and Associates regarding the city attorney search. Second item is the Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation will be here to discuss their agreement. And the third piece will be a discussion about the William S. Harvey Deltona Scholarship Program, and that'll be next Monday as a workshop. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, at this time, we're going to go ahead and enter into the combined City Commission special reports requests and City Commission comments. We'll start with Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mayor. On the senior prom, it's my understanding after having conversations with many of our seniors and the city manager, as well as the past commissioner that has more or less sponsored that, that their wish is to leave it how it is this year, and then we've opened up the door for conversations with the city manager so that we can see what kind of partnership is available in the future. I would really like to see that becomes a city event and something that the city can support and promote and kind of turn, it's one of the largest events with over 200 people attending it. So I think it's only right with about 20,000 residents in Deltona over 65 that we cater to their needs as well. And then also wanted just to make everybody aware of, I have received a lot of comments, a lot of messages from residents on Van Park, on DuPont Lakes Park, and some of the other ball fields about drainage issues and just overall maintenance issues. I've shared them with the city manager, and it is my hope that with this budget and Doc here to lead the charge, we can increase that level of expectation for city facilities. I've also had conversations with the city manager and staff on upgrades to Harris-Saxon Park, and hope that we can work more on that in the near future and kind of bring some more recreational opportunities over to not just District 1, but to the northeast side of town. So, thank you, guys.
Commissioner Shimkus?
None. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez?
Thank you, Mayor. So first of all, I want to congratulate all the sports teams that have returned to the field. Also want to give a shout out to the Masons for their Teachers Appreciation Breakfast. Unfortunately, not a lot of that is done around acknowledging our teachers. And Daytona State College on their ribbon cutting. As we all know, the new building next door opened up, and we're very happy to have been part of the ribbon cutting. I want to give a shout out to Deltona High School for bringing up their rating. They're now rated A. Although I have to say that we were not, at least I was not invited to their celebration awards, nor did I know about it, and I just would like to know why. An invitation did not go out to all the commissioners to be invited to this presentation. Prior to that, we had approved a city recognition policy which stated that all of this, any proclamation or anything like this will be brought up to the commissioners before it was given out. So I just don't understand why the rest of the commissioners were not given the respect to have been invited to this event. No, correction. I was invited at 10:15 in the morning to an event that started at 11 a.m. So I would like to know why commissioners were not invited to a Deltona High School event that received a proclamation from the mayor, not even the city, the mayor of the city of Deltona, and the key to the city. So I don't know how the other commissioners feel, but I feel very disrespected on that part. While on talking about Deltona High School, I also want to give a shout out to Pine Ridge, who also brought up their rating. So kudos to Pine Ridge and Deltona High School. While being on not the invite list, I also want to know about our visit, the visit to Congressman Representative Mills to the city of Deltona. And again, none of the commissioners were invited. This is the second time an elected official visits the city of Deltona and no commissioners know about it until it comes up on Facebook. So my question to this visit is, sorry, Representative Corey, Mills, I would have loved to have met you. Unfortunately, again, I was not invited, nor were the other commissioners. So my question to this is, who reserved the room for Representative Mills to hold his meeting in? What kind of event was it? And if it was a town hall meeting, as I was informed, why wasn't this town hall meeting announced or put on the city Facebook like every town hall meeting is supposed to be announced? This town hall meetings are supposed to be made public so that if any commissioner would like to attend, can attend. So I would like to know how all this came about and not one commissioner here was invited. At least that's what I was told. Well, yeah, how lucky of you to be invited. We were not.
I'll be more than happy to answer all those.
I'm sure you do, Mayor. I'm sure you will have an answer.
Mayor, first off, I'd like to thank you for working with Representative Corey Mills' office.
Go ahead.
I think it's important that this
I haven't finished.
represented.
I have not finished. I still have my time.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And I'm very happy to work with all the elected officials that represent the city of Deltona. But I would also like to have been respected and been invited to meet him and shake his hand and thank him for everything he does for the city of Deltona. I didn't get that opportunity because I wasn't aware of it. So it has nothing to do with the elected officials itself. It's how the process took place, how it was handled in here in City Hall. Has nothing to do with the schools, it has nothing to do with the teachers, nor does it have to do with the elected officials. It's how it was handled here in City Hall. I think as elected officials, we need to have a little bit more respect towards each other. I think that's where the problem lies, that we sort of forget that there are 7 elected officials up here with the same responsibilities, and I have as much respect for everybody else here, and I hope that everyone here gives back that same respect. I was told that the proclamation was it only went out in the name of the mayor, from the mayor's office. These proclamations come from the city of Deltona, with the city of Deltona's logo. When we took an oath to be elected officials of this city, we swore on that oath underneath that seal. I don't have a problem. I am very honored to represent that seal wherever I go. So for a proclamation to be given out with your own personal logo is a disrespect to the city of Deltona. That's number one. As far as request, I would like to have a consensus requesting that that seal goes back to where it belongs, that our proclamation goes back to the original form of what it used to be with the city seal, and that the word commissioners goes back to where it was in those proclamations. Proclamations came from the mayor and city commissioners. That doesn't exist anymore. I don't remember voting against taking it out. So that's one of my requests, and I would like to have a consensus on that. As a respect to the city, we need to put that logo back where it belongs.
Before we go to Commissioner Cole, are you done, Commissioner Villa-Vasquez?
No, I have one more request.
Go ahead.
For a proclamation, and that is, I think I sent out an email for the sons and daughters of Italy who will be celebrating Italian Heritage Month next month.
Thank you.
Let's see. Oh, I'm not finished. I think I have something else back here, but okay, I think I covered that. So, yes, I would like an answer to the questions that I put out there. Thank you.
Before we go to Commissioner Crowell, City Manager, am I mistaken? Has our proclamations, logos and stuff changed? They haven't, correct?
No.
Excuse me.
I'm not sure what we're all talking about right now.
I don't either, because I didn't issue a proclamation, but
I don't know
because
what happened there,
she
but-
requests a lot of respect and doesn't give it. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's no proclamation that was given. But just to save some time, have we changed our proclamations?
The ones we make with Sandy and Bridget is very simple with the city logo on it, and I'm not sure what we're talking about right now.
Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Colwell. Any comments, special requests, concerns?
I'd like to address the city attorney issue that we're having. I spoke with Mr. Basinger, and the reality of us getting a city attorney in by the end of the year is slim. Do we have a contingency plan for the end of the month when our current expires?
There are other attorneys that the city has worked with in the past, and we will have some backup. We're waiting to get Colin in here. I know he talked to you. He said he has got a few people potentially that are potential players, so if they work out, it won't be as long as hopefully as we may anticipate, but we won't be stuck in a lurch. The city attorney does not have to be at every meeting. It's up to the commission by charter to excuse the city attorney, so it's not that she must be here or he, but certainly there's going to be times we're going to need them in the next few months. So
Exactly.
even then, we still contract out with some other attorneys, so we shouldn't be too stuck in the lurch, but we'll learn more on Monday.
So we have a current list of
Yes, there is.
companies we use? Okay.
There are people, yes, correct.
Anything else, Commissioner Colwell?
No, that's it. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Whoa, here it goes. I got to see if we can get consent. I want to make a few points real quick first. Our access to City Hall. I want to get a consensus, put it back what it was. I understand why you did it, but I don't believe it's up to the city manager to make policy regarding us elected. And one of the parts I want to bring up is, from what I understand, I heard that, Mr. City Manager, you made a comment to somebody that you had to do it because you had to stop the mayor from being in City Hall first thing in the morning talking to employees, and he was here talking to people before you got here. Well, I guess Commissioner Caldwell, he just called you a liar. So
I said the mayor is coming in talking to staff.
you said you had to stop him from having meetings with people before you got here in the morning, because that's exactly what you told Commissioner Caldwell.
The mayor meets with people, citizens, on a regular basis in the morning when I get in.
You're right, but you're missing what you told Commissioner Caldwell. You said you wanted to stop the mayor from, you had to do something to stop him from having meetings in the morning. That's all.
Commissioners, I think there's another reason why I think we all know what was very heavy, the reason that we took that away and had nothing to do with the mayor.
Well, the other thing is, we got elected to see what's going on in City Hall. We got elected to see what's going on in our city, to find out the different stuff. And I think the way it went about, you could have just talked to us about, hey, look, I haven't even been hanging around. I stopped even a week before you even changed it, I was stopped. So, you could blame it on me or blame it on everybody else. We have that right. Our charter says we can come talk to city employees whenever we want. We can't direct them. And as far as my knowledge, I've never known this man here to direct city staff. So I would like to get consensus to put these back for access to City Hall where we had before. So
Commissioners,
I'd like to get a vote for consent to put this back where it is.
if I could speak for a moment.
Go ahead, Mr. Dougherty.
100% of the employees do not work for the city commission or the mayor. 100%, except attorney, but she's contracted. There is no reason any commissioner needs access to go into anybody's office out of the blue or after hours to go into employees' offices. There's no reason at all. And that, to me, is the most ultimate administrative decision, is who has access into staff's offices. The commission sets policy. Everyday operations and running the government is done under city manager's office.
I agree.
So when somebody takes a candidate into HR through 2 locked doors, that is actually absolute charter interference. Not even a question about it. And as we look at the charter for interference, commission can talk to commissioner employees, which I've said to all of you, absolutely. If you want to meet with somebody, call them up, meet with them in the conference room, or if they say, come on into the office. But I could tell you in the last few days talking to staff, they feel much more comfortable knowing that just not out of the blue, commissioners are just standing at their door. So meet with them, go over topics with them, not an interference at all. The fact that you have to go right into their offices through locked doors when you have no say over employees whatsoever, to me that is administration 101. That is definitely not a policy of the commission.
There's parts of it I agree with, and there's parts I disagree with. I think what you making a policy without discussing it with us was wrong. You make policies regarding the city, not the commission. You said you run the city, I get it, but you're missing one vital important part there. You work for us.
That's a violation right there. What you're talking about is you're
work for the
implying
commission.
that I can't control the employees because the commission employs me.
No, I'm not telling you.
We don't even want to get into those kind of conversations.
I'm not telling you not to take care of the city employees.
This is not going into a very productive.
We make the policy that you implement.
Not when it comes to employees, no, absolutely not. The commission does not determine where the employees go and what they do and what offices they use.
I'd like to take a vote for consensus.
Good.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez? No. Commissioner Colwell? Yes. Commissioner Harriet?
I've struggled with this over the last 2 weeks since this change happened. I think there's a lot of good that has come out of commissioners being actively involved. I think there's also a tremendous amount of negative that has come out because of commissioners being actively involved. I don't think this is the right way to go about this discussion. So I'm going to have to be a no on this.
Commissioner Shimkus?
I am unequivocally no. I support everything the city manager has done in this regard. I think it's important that we hired him to do this job and we allow him to do the job to the capacity that he wants to do it. If we want to set a new policy, by all means, bring a policy up. But interfering with how he decides to run the city on an everyday basis is not okay. So I'm unequivocally okay with what the city manager did and his reason for doing so.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Yes.
Mayor Avila?
So I'm going to vote no, and here's why. I come correctly every morning, and I have meetings with residents. I have not once had a city staff member, the few times that I've had questions, they've come up to my office, they've been able to answer that resident's questions, and if they need further direction, Doc will obviously tell them what they have to do. So to me, actually, I think it's better. That's just, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, but that's just me.
I also want to add that since this has taken place, I've had no issue with actually getting information from staff, getting information from our city manager. I pick up the phone, and if I can't get a hold of the director that I have a question for, I can get a hold of Doc. Staff's been very responsive. Doc has been very responsive, so I don't think this is an access to information issue.
What was the motion? It was denied, correct? 4-2, okay. Or consensus, I apologize. Is there anything else? Okay.
Game on now.
So a couple of things I want to address. The other day I was actually, these will be quick. I was on the phone with our CFO, Jimmy Petronis. We spoke about ways we can help our residents when it comes to home insurance. I know that's not something that it directly involves the city, but we got together with a few mayors, including the mayor DeLand was there and a couple other mayors from Volusia County, to see what we can do to promote a way to reduce property insurance, because that's a big problem in our state right now. I got with, in a couple of weeks, I am going to be going to South Florida to meet with Senator Rick Scott, again, to help push a federal bill that he has on the line to help, again, with some tax alleviation for residents. I want to follow up on the whole senior prom thing. I know I spoke to former Commissioner Sosa several times, and he said he still wants to be responsible for it, so I only ask that we reach out to him when the time comes, just for the courtesy. To address two questions. The first one, because this is important, U.S. Congressman Mills put out several notifications on all of his social medias, probably a month. Mr. Doherty, was it over a month in advance, if I'm not mistaken?
It may have been, I don't know.
Okay, so it was about over a month. On his town hall event, it said no RSVP required. I could tell you that it was not a political or campaigning event, for the simple fact that that's under a blackout period, so he's not by law allowed to campaign. It was strictly town hall. We had Democrats, Republicans, I believe there's an independent there. Even one of the Democrats asked a question, very respectful. The whole thing was very fluid. It was really good. He answered a lot of questions. Not once did the person that's helping bring to the city $33 million say vote for Mills. So I think that's something that's extremely important to clarify. It was not a campaign stop. He came here and he answered a lot of questions. He gave updates, legislative updates. I don't care if it was a Democrat that was our U.S. Congressperson. If they need to use, excuse me, ma'am, point of order. It is ma'am, it's point of order. I did not interrupt you, and the few times that I did by accident, I stayed quiet. So all I'm saying is, before we go on these tangents about, the mayor did this or didn't do that, I also put it out on my social media way in advance, and again, it also says, and it's still there because I can't delete stuff, that there is no reservation required. That's that. As far as the key to the city goes, I want to address this specifically to my residents. This is about a principal that adamantly did not want to receive a key to the city. I had to go through our school board rep, who happens to be from my opposing party, by the way, and he tried to get him to come to a city commission meeting to accept the key to the city. He adamantly said no, he does not. He is very undeserving. Then I found out that the school not only was a #1 in the state of Florida, okay, for Title I schools, but they actually went from a B school to an A school. I got with the current principal, and we talked to each other, and we said, we got to find a way to get Mr. McAuliffe to be able to accept the key to the city, even if we have to surprise him. You can confirm this with Mr. Ruben Colon. It was very last minute when I found out that Mr. McAuliffe was going to be at the school for a presentation. Ruben called me and said, Mr. Mayor, it has to happen now. That very instant, I went to Miss Bridget, and I went to the city manager, and I said, can we please make sure that every single commissioner knows about it? Now, I did call our county councilman, David Santiago, because he's part of the council as well. He dropped everything he was doing, and he was able to make it. Out of there, I called no other candidates or no other anything. So to my residents, this is about a principal who's deserving of a key to the city. It's not about me, and it should not be about anybody else on this dais. So I think we should be able to move forward, try to unite each other, and stop these silly and vicious attacks on the mayor just because I'm not from their party. Meeting's adjourned.